Well, it's a hot day here in Southern Ontario. It's like 37, 38, and for you Americans, that's right around 100. And Splitfire has been making machines for over 35 years. We make machines of all shapes and sizes, and we get a lot of our customers coming from, a farm or a homestead looking to heat a shop or a house. With energy prices the way they are, and not coming down anytime soon, they're looking to cut costs. And we get some people that are looking just for some extra cash. Maybe it's a side hustle, they got access to firewood, and a roadside stand can generate some pretty decent cash. And some people just like splitting wood. It's healthy, it's good exercise, and if you got decent, firewood kicking around, it's an enjoyable thing to do. So a lot of these people are starting off with a one-way style machine. They bought at a big box store, horizontal, vertical flip, and they're looking for something a little quicker, a little bit easier on their body, and that's where the Splitfire 2265 comes in. This machine is being designed for that segment, and it's quick, easy to use. It's got plenty of options to make the job easy, and we're going to show you why a 2265 should be the top of your list when you're purchasing your next log splitter. First thing is ergonomics. You could have a one-way style machine in the vertical position, splitting your big wood for you. But the problem with that is that you're always hunched over and your back is not in a good position. With a 2265, you could fit it with a log lifter and you can roll up those larger pieces. I split this piece here with ease. It probably weighs 220 pounds. Could I lift it? Yeah. Do I want to? Absolutely not. So, with a 2265, the bed height's at 28 inches, which is a super easy working bed height, and the optional hydraulic log lifter makes it a breeze to split that larger stuff. And you know what? You're always standing straight, you're not hunched over, and after a long day of splitting wood, and after many years of consecutively doing it, your back will thank you. You only get one, and if you destroy it, it doesn't typically get better. So that's the number one thing to think about when you're splitting wood. How can I do it in such a way where I'm not going to be tired or I'm going to ruin my body doing so? Number two is cycle time. What's the first thing you notice about the Splitfire 2265 is that it's a two-way stroke. On your conventional pusher style, your one-way style, it's splitting in one direction and it must return before you can split your next piece of wood. On a 2265, it's more effective because you're splitting there and back, so you're not waiting. On some of those one-way machines, it's like watching paint dry. That's how slow they are. So this thing here is 3 seconds one way, 3 seconds back. So it's really quick, and you don't need to run it at full throttle. You could run it at half throttle. The motor's got plenty of power to run the machine at that speed. You're not waiting it. You're not watching the machine do its thing. It's moving the machine and stopping it, putting the next log in, and getting the job done quickly and efficiently. Number three is power. We have a lot of customers that call the shop and say, hey, I need 30 or 40 tons to split my firewood. And it's quite a large misconception. This machine here is 18 tons, and give me firewood. There's some awfully tough kinds of firewood out there, and I can split most of it with a 2265. If the knife gets stuck, I will simply knock the piece of wood off on the return stroke, move the piece of firewood around, whether I flip it or pull it over to the side a little more, and it will split that piece of firewood. So, there's a trade-off between power and speed. The more power a machine has, typically the slower it is, unless you're spending, over 15, 20 grand for a high production log splitter. But on a machine like this, with a smaller cylinder, we can get really quick cycle times. We've optimized the stops and the knife so that it has the most penetrating power possible for that 18 tons. Number four is safety, and it's quite an important part of splitting firewood. If something gets away with you, there's a lot of tonnage, and with a quick cycle time, things can happen pretty quick. So the nice thing with a Splitfire is, because it's a two-way split, there is no auto retract on a splitter like this. You don't need to have one. The second you let go of that handle, the machine stops. On a one-way style machine, if you click that handle back, and let's say you slip on a piece of ice or you take a misstep and you put your hand down, if it's in the wrong spot and it's doing an auto retract, you could get yourself into trouble. Nice thing with Splitfires, you will not have that problem. The second you let go of that handle, you should be putting a new piece of wood on the machine at all times. The other thing about it is we have a V-shaped log stop. So no matter if the wood is cut at an angle or it's just a funky size or shape, the split fire system is going to hold that piece of firewood, and it's going to hold the pressure centered, so it's not going to want to kick out and hit you in the side of the leg. And that's a really important part of these machines, is that it doesn't allow flyouts or kickouts of the firewood. And just as far as the overall machine goes, you'll see how we've designed it is that we've put the motor, all the filter, the pump on the back side of the machine, you could say. You know, on a lot of the vertical machines, the motor and the pump are just off the side, so it doesn't take much for a piece of firewood to, you know, fall off the log shelf or log table, and you've got a dented fuel tank, or it hits a hose and you got to repair something. The nice thing with the split fire is it's all on the back of the machine. So when you're splitting, you know, you can drop a piece of firewood, you can toss it around. You don't need to worry about ruining any kind of metal or components on this side of the machine. So number 5 is an important one, and that's maintenance. How long will this thing last, and how much maintenance do I have to put into it? And the answer is very little. It's very common to see a split fire kicking around that's 15, 20 years old, and we've been in business for 35. There is 35-year-old log splitters still being used there today. When you walk up to a split fire, you know, a 2265, you can grab the knife, and this knife is really in position. It doesn't wiggle back and forth, and that's because it's being held in by 4 UH&W slide pads on all 4 sides. No steel on steel. Don't gotta grease it, don't gotta oil it, and it doesn't get grimy. Very easy to wash and keep clean. You know, as far as the quality components go, we build our own hydraulic cylinders. The valve, the other components are tried to you know, maintain that quality you would expect when buying a split fire. You know, it differs a lot when you're buying a big box store machine. You can't just walk with a knife and shake it back 3/8 an inch. It's not a sloppy assembly. Everything's nice and tight, and that's what will make this machine last a long time. Just for reference, I want to always split large stuff on the outstroke because it has 10% more power than the retract stroke. Just a small FYI. So if you buy a split fire 2265, you're going to get 5 things. First, you're going to have good ergonomics. You won't be bent over. If you get the optional log lifter, it's going to save you a ton of back work. You know, you're going to have quick cycle times, 3 to 4 seconds there, and the same thing going back. You're not waiting for the machine, and you get good power. 18 tons will split almost anything you put in front of it. You might need to shift some things, but it will get the job done every time. And as far as safety, you know, it's super important. This machine will not let pieces kick out, fly out. All the soft spots, the engine, the pump, the filter are away from the splitting zone. And, you know, obviously it's a quality machine. You got quality components. It's built right here in North America. And when you pick up the phone, you'll get someone on the phone every single time. So if you got more questions about this machine, you can see more at split-fire.com. You can browse the page with all the options, select your country, and it'll actually update your pricing as you go. And if you got more questions from there, you know, feel free to give us a call anytime at the office, and we'll be more than happy to speak to you. Take it easy.